The Texans are acquiring running back David Montgomery in the trade with the Detroit Lions for offensive lineman Juice Scruggs and 2 draft picks. The Lions will receive a 2026 fourth round pick. That's from this upcoming draft in April. And then a 2027 seventh round pick in next year's draft. So
I'm sad about that one. I mean, come on. David Montgomery is beastly on that football field. And along with Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery and Gibbs are that 1-2 punch. I mean, come on. They've had some legendary moments on that field together, the Lions. And now you're sending David Montgomery off to the Texans. It's like, why couldn't you make David Montgomery happy? Make him happy, Detroit Lions, decision makers. Give David what he wants. He was out there beasting for us. Shouldn't have let him go. It's going to really affect this offense. It is.
Yeah, I think Lions fans should chill. I think this was a good trade. I don't think Montgomery was too happy with his role because at this point, it's the Gibbs show. Gibbs needs to be getting 70 to 80% of the touches. And, with his – and then I think with this trade, you took Montgomery's contract off the books, so you just freed up some cap space, and you got back a guard. You got back an offensive lineman from the Texans. One of the Lions' weakest points last year was the O-line. They got to rebuild the offensive line this season. That was a huge part of them missing the playoffs this year. The offensive line took a huge down step to what it was the year before when they had the number 1 seed. So this is a step in the right direction for them rebuilding the offensive line. Montgomery, he was at the end of his contract anyway. If he'd played here one more year, he probably was going to walk anyway, and you weren't going to get nothing for him. So you got a much-needed offensive lineman back, and you got a 4th round pick. You got a 7th round pick in next year's draft. And like I said, Gibbs is the main guy. You can draft another running back. This is a deep running back draft. And then you got to think, when you draft a running back, he's going to be on a rookie contract. So he's going to be much cheaper than what Montgomery was. And now you can allocate those funds to something else. So I like the move.
Interesting. Since you break it down like that, I just hope it doesn't come back to haunt the Detroit Lions, though. I really don't. I hope this offensive lineman that they acquired in this trade, I hope he pans out because it looks like longtime Detroit Lions offensive lineman Taylor Decker, he's on his way out. I mean, he could barely stand up. So this has really, really got to work because that window is ever so closing on the Lions in terms of to get back to that NFC Championship form. Just everything's got to fire on all cylinders with this trade. They got to be real strategic. I mean, come on, man. Taylor Decker's on his way out. Frank Ragnow, he's already out. Like you said, we see how that drastically affected the Lions' offensive line. I mean, that defensive line, they got to play better. I hope they bring back El Quadin Muhammad, the Detroit Lions. Definitely bring him back. Aiden Hutchinson has been lobbying for El Quadin Muhammad to get re-signed and signed back with the Lions. So that should be a priority signing as well. And draft a decent quarterback or try to acquire Chicago Bears backup quarterback Tyson Bagent. Or O'Rourke, backup quarterback out there in San Francisco. They drafted him out of Indiana.
Yeah, I think Al Quadin Muhammad is going to get re-signed for sure. I don't see him going anywhere. He was one of your most productive defensive linemen last year, so I don't think he's going nowhere. And then like I said, that trade, get Montgomery's contract off the books, just freed up some cap space to potentially re-sign a guy like Al Quadin Muhammad. And
Roy Lopez, got to give a shout out to Roy Lopez, Lions defensive lineman. He was productive last season too.
Yeah. So all in all, I don't think I know Montgomery was a light guy here in Michigan. A lot of people embraced him. The Sonic and nothing things with him and Gibbs, they did a lot of good, but I don't think Lions fans should overreact to this one. You could draft, you can bring in another running back for cheaper, and regardless of what, it's still the Gibbs show. You still got Jahmyr Gibbs, so no matter what other running back you bring in, it's still his show. He's still going to get 80% of the touches.
Well, hopefully Jahmyr Gibbs won't start fading late in the season like he has. Classic just fade in the late season. There was games where you go hold 2 quarters, Gibbs did nothing, barely got in, could barely get a yard. Okay, we can't have that. They're going to go anywhere. We're talking about Super Bowl contention. They can't have Gibbs fading in these late quarter games.
Yeah, once again, you build that offensive line back up, get it back to what it was, then I don't think you're going to worry about Gibbs fading. If you're protecting Goff, you're winning at the line of scrimmage, you're creating holes. It all starts there. If the offensive line gets better, everything around it'll be better.